Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your midday market report / closing bell for Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. Shout out to everyone watching and listening on social media. Shock us, surprise us, like it, retweet it, show us some love. If you're not on YouTube or Twitch, you can follow us at East Coast Sports Investors. Subscribe, it's free. Tell a friend. You know, there's always a method behind my madness, and I caught a picture on Sunday of someone at Lambeau Field. It wasn't me. So I think it was my co-host. So after the results, and if he got the ECSI VIP Sunday alert, he would have known who our dog of the day was. I thought he might need a day to de-thaw and, to get settled, because I'm going to preface this. It was almost like staged in this regard. Aaron Rodgers just taking that look all around the stadium. Just happened to be mic'd up when someone asked him for his shirt, and he says, nah, I'm going to keep it. And then fades off into the sunset, arm in arm with Randall Cobb. This is Favre Part 2. I mean, we went through this last year. This is Favre Part 2. And my co-host here, I know for a fact, I'll bring back the tapes earlier before he came back with the big contract. We said rip off the Band-Aid. Let's go for it. I did. I know that. It's time. But, you always want to get that one more run. And granted, listen, hey, hats off. After the bye, they sheet out, and it was everyone lost that had to lose, and now they're sitting in the catbird seat Sunday night. And I told everyone this that was a Packer fan. I would have rather played the Lions with a win in versus it doesn't matter. We're playing to make sure they're golfing with us. So enough from me. Let's get it right from the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. What is up, my brother?
What is up, my friend? Happy Tuesday afternoon. Yes, I am thawed out, and it appears you've brought me back to put salt back in the wounds. No, I'm kidding. I've got, as you can maybe could tell, it's better today, but my voice is still recovering from the Sunday night game there. But no, it was obviously anyone that's a huge fan of a team knows it's gut wrenching when that team loses for the season, whether that's the playoffs, the final week of the season, or maybe halfway through the season if your team is in some ugly spots. But the game was a fantastic atmosphere, one of the best atmospheres for a sporting event that I've ever been to at Lambeau. My first loss at Lambeau, that was so I was 5-0 coming into that, so it was a bit of a humbling experience. But no, as far as Aaron Rodgers going into next season, I am very interested to see what happens, and whether I do kind of agree. I actually didn't hear obviously being at the game and not wanting to relive some of the stuff immediately. I didn't hear the part about asking for a shirt or anything like that. I did not hear that. So that's you're telling me that for the first time. So, but obviously saw the walking out with Randall Cobb and whatnot. So I agree. It does feel like that. The time to move on. Talking with a lot of other Packers, fans, people, media, whatever. I feel like. I don't know that this is the end for Aaron Rodgers in the NFL, but it does feel like that potentially was the end with the Packers. I would be kind of surprised. He said that he would be able to, be able to rest on his laurels with what he's done in his career. He's obviously put a hell of a career together, but I would be surprised to see him be willing to go out like that, honestly, with an 8-9 season, missing the playoffs there. So the season as a whole, obviously, like you said, gave us some fun the last 5 weeks. Gave us, whether it's him or Jordan Love next year, whoever else, gave us something to look forward to as far as some positive roster trends, as opposed to what we were looking at it with 4-8 there with some of the young guys coming up. So I'll be optimistic going into next season to some degree to at least get back into the playoffs with whoever it is. So I'm interested to see how it is. And Rodgers has kind of stated he needs to take a step away before he makes that decision. But and if the Packers move on from him, though, it's obviously the way they've set it up is. It wouldn't surprise me if he comes back to the Packers, honestly, with the way the cap situation has been. But I'm with you. I do think it is, especially the way he was playing. Obviously, if he can bounce back with some chip on his shoulder or something like that and put together another nice season, then that's obviously one last hurrah. But this really felt like the start of a decline, and obviously there's no Devontae Adams there, so you miss that weapon. But some of the play calling throughout the season was kind of through some of the issue points of the season, as opposed to the 4-week stretch that they had, was kind of on display a little bit on Sunday night. Some of the obviously the two biggest things that really killed the Packers was obviously the 4th and 1 going for it when you're up 3-0 and your defense already looked great on the first opening drive defensively, and you run a sweep to Allen Lazard on 4th and 1 at your own 30, 35, whatever the heck it was, and then they get the field goal there, and then the Aaron Jones fumble at the end of the half. When you're up by 9-3, at the very least looking to go up by 2 scores, 12-3, and then you fumble it, and I think let them get back into the kick a field goal down by 3 there. So those were the two single biggest swings of the game, in my opinion. But then there was, as far as why the Packers couldn't put up more points, the goal line again, both times this season against Detroit was a struggle. And all season long, the Packers weren't very good at the goal line either, but especially against the Lions the 2 times. And then the second down calls, 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6, instead of, Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon picks up 3, 4, 5 on first down. And then on second down, it's take a long shot to one of our guys, and it's, a contested shot to Christian Watson, Lazard, or Romeo Doubs. And that second down type of play calling was really a lot of the biggest issues as far as the stalled drives and whatnot throughout the entire season that really made Packers fans tear their hair out. That was on display the other night on Sunday night. So interested to see, and again, a lot of that, obviously Rodgers has a lot of freedom within the offense, so there's still some of that. How much of those types of play calling are Rodgers? How much of that is LaFleur? LaFleur didn't have his best game by any means. I still like some of what he does as a play caller, but, I'm interested to see how he does with Jordan Love and the rest of the offense in this young offense. Obviously, it's a small sample size, but Jordan Love has improved, year after year, game after game. It was obviously ugly to start with, and a little bit that we saw, it was a little bit encouraging. So I'm interested to see what would happen with the Jordan Love Matt LaFleur offense. I think Matt LaFleur just needs someone that's going to do exactly what he says, as opposed to, obviously Aaron Rodgers has a ton of experience, but, there seemed to be some of that hero ball type mentality this year. Last hurrah, resting on I want to go out. If I'm going out, gunslinging a little bit here. So very interested to see what happens. Like I said, the NFC North itself is going to have a lot of storylines going into next year. I'm very worried that with the Detroit Lions, that type of win and the way they maneuvered, and even before the season, even when they were 1-6, maybe Dan Campbell at that point you might have not said what was the answer, but the way their roster building right now has been fantastic. I've been so nervous about these drafts that they've had, and they've obviously got fantastic capital. They have flexibility of either getting aggressive and trying to get one of these quarterbacks, or building around Goff to some degree and just building the hell out of their rosters, which is what I think they're going to do here. So I've been scared of what they've been building, and Aiden Hutchinson obviously looked pretty damn good this year, and I'm nervous of him. And it's hilarious. I'm in Chicago. 90% of the people I know and love us outside of my family and a few of my friends are Bears fans, and you would have thought they won the Super Bowl on Sunday, for goodness sake, man. Getting the and obviously Houston losing, I credit to them for being, obviously they're excited about that, but winning 3 games, in my opinion, is obviously, you want to get the best draft position possible, but I'm not a person. And at the position they were in, yes, they had to do that to some degree. But I'm not standing up and cheering for a 3-14 season or whatever the heck it was. So interested to see what they do with that pick, trading it. I have not heard from a single Bears fan about trading Justin Fields. They are enamored with Justin Fields. I've already heard over 2 days a handful of ESPN or the other 3-letter word, whatever network talking about trading Justin Fields. I could tell you for a fact. Obviously, if they do that and whoever they bring in is a stud, then obviously they'll shut up. But Soldier Field might burn down if Justin Fields is traded. That's how much they love that guy. They're not just sold on him. He is quote unquote their savior. So I am very interested to see what they do there. In my opinion, it's kind of ironic that they finally have the number 1 pick, but don't actually need a franchise quarterback. So I'm interested to see. Obviously that's up to your judgment whether or not you think Fields is the guy. So. I'm interested to see what happens with the NFC North. Definitely scared of the Lions. Could Fields be fantastic? Absolutely. But, the Bears got a lot of roster building to do before they're worth anything. I'm not, next year I think is still going to be a lot of a rebuilding year. They don't, in my opinion, didn't have too many pieces right now that are going to be there in 4 or 5 years outside of potentially Justin Fields. So interested to see what happens with the NFC North. And obviously, the one team that's still remaining, we'll see if they can last past this weekend and, alleviate the F word, fraud word that's been on them for most of the season. Interested to see how that goes the next week or two here potentially. So, a lot of storylines with the NFC North, but hopefully next year it'll be brighter for the Packers.
A lot to decipher there. When I was doing this, it looks like even if Rodgers comes back, you can start to see the change into the guard.
Yeah.
Campbell even said it in the locker room. What we did today, he says, we left our stamp saying the North now goes through Detroit, he said. And I, granted the Lions this year are the North winners, but you can see the changing of the guard, the way they are built. They got, I think, a couple draft picks. I think they got the Rams pick as well.
Yep.
Going back to the Bears, there is zero chance they trade Justin Fields. Zero.
Yeah.
Well,
before you continue, it's you're going to hear from the 4-letter words and 3-letter words and the other NFL networks because they're the ones broadcasting the draft with the Bears being the number 1 pick. So they obviously want to drum up that narrative of will the Bears trade? But no, I agree with you. Like I said, Soldier Field will burn down if they do that.
The funny thing is on draft day, Denver had the 9th pick, and they were sitting there trying to see if they could get a timeout and stop the clock. They were fielding offers. Come on, guys, come get Justin Fields, and no one moved. Come on down.
Right.
What in holy hell? Why was Lazard so salty?
Like I said, as far as what? Like I said,
you didn't see the press conference?
I didn't see many press conferences. Like I said, being at the game was I didn't get a chance to see a lot of these other stuff. I didn't get a chance to. I wasn't trying to. I didn't want to consume as I was obviously seeing something, but I didn't see it. No, I actually did not see it. So I'm behind the 8 ball and that type of stuff as compared to usual.
I don't want to quote it. I want you to YouTube Alan Lazard's final press conference. He was salty as hell. I think the question was, what do you think of Rodgers? Do you think he'll be back? Yada, yada, yada. And he wanted no part of talking about Aaron. It's just one person. And he was irate to the fact, like he was spitting venom to say, basically, I ain't coming back here. I'm gone. Now, unless he thinks he's going to be Devontae Adams, he ain't getting paid like Devontae Adams. And maybe he just wants out. He's seen enough or whatever. Disappointed in his season. The fact that the writing's on the wall with Watson and Dobbs there. I said it last year. I'll say it again. This is Favre, 2.0. Listen, he is not aging the way I see Tom Brady aging. I got in a little discussion with one of my colleagues this week that Tom's going to have this big market. I'm like, dude, he didn't have a big market a couple years ago. Well, what about if he goes to San Fran? Shanahan could have had him. Back then, he didn't want him. It's Shanahan in the system. Now he's going to let Jimmy go, and he's got no money at quarterback. It's either Trey Lance or it's the Brockstar. Well, what about the Raiders? Raiders make sense. He put on that free agency circus. He supposedly bought a house or condo or something in Vegas. A reunion with Josh does make sense. Other than that, I don't know where the hell Brady's going to go, but it's just comical that, for far, well, I'm already calling him far. Listen, Rodgers is going to play this out again. There's a lot of money to be left on that table. Maybe he wants to grab his ball and go elsewhere. I always was talking the last week about Sean Payton to Miami. Well, Miami got into the playoffs, so maybe that's gone. If Dallas loses to the Bucks on Monday, maybe Sean goes to Dallas. Well, Rodgers can't go to Dallas because you still got Dak there. So
Right.
there is limit. I mean, someone talked about Rodgers to Vegas reunite with Devontae Adams. So
Well, that'd be
again,
something.
I'm not. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not. You know what, Aaron? Go on Tuesdays with our buddy Pat. Have a blast. Go do what you got to do in the off season and play it out to the tilt because it is what it is. And at the end of the day, I said now for a couple of years, rip the Band-Aid off. You drafted Jordan Love in the first round. See what you got.
Yep. No, I am with you definitely at this point. And yeah, as far as like I said, as far as Rodgers is concerned, you could tell. I think he could tell himself that he's content, but I think with all of the storylines that have been around him the last 4 or 5 years, and the fact that he's only got the one ring, there is something that eats at him that whenever someone talks about him negatively, that drives him nuts. So I do think he will eventually come back. But I agree with you. I don't know that it'll be with the Packers, but again, it wouldn't shock me if it is. But with the way that they structured this last deal, but I'm with you. I think it is time.
Shout out to Mr. PB. Glad you're here with TJ and the rest of everyone watching and listening. To the ECSI VIPs, I sarcastically, when we sent the alert out today, apologized that it took us to the first possession of the second half. We had the Georgia team total over 38.5 plus 105. Had a couple guys reach out on their way to casinos. I gave them a little Georgia first half. We had some pizza and beer props. Wasn't going to lay the Brock Star with one touchdown because it was minus 160. You got him plus 350 for 2 touchdowns. Obviously didn't get that, but he's going to be something. I wasn't shocked with the outcome. I said the national championship game was Georgia and Ohio State. Ohio State was given a second lease on life when they were invited to the Final Four. The missed field goal gave Georgia a second lease of life and a chance at the championship, a chance to repeat something no team has done since 2012. TCU ecstatic to get there, but even more ecstatic to beat Michigan. And at that championship game, this was a 200-1 shot before the season started. Nothing but praise to Mr. Dykes, to Max, the whole crew at TCU. Hell of a job.
Yeah.
Georgia, listen, I was at the Circa. I was talking to Julian this morning on our Breakfast Bankroll show, and I was like, we were sitting at the Circa. We already had the Astros and we had the Bills. We were putting the college football piece together. We said 2 teams. We said Alabama or Ohio State. Never once said Georgia because they lost so many people.
Right.
They didn't just skip a beat. They were probably by the end of the season better than last year's team.
At least offensively. Maybe defensively you could make the case with how many studs they had, but at least offensively I completely agree with you, and maybe that makes them a better team as compared to last year. But, I mean, the way their offense was humming by the end of the season, I totally agree.
So Kirby and company on DraftKings right now. Next year's favorite, Alabama, number 2. And I think Julian said number 3 was Ohio State, and I think he said number 4 was USC. So we'll get to that. Huge slate. We got NBA. We got college hoops. We got some NHL. I'm going to toss you the board and let you have at it. You got a headliner, obviously, which is kind of a head scratcher. Rotation number 619, 620. The Michigan State Spartans travel to Wisconsin. I was in the office Saturday. in the studio, I got one of the TVs I can
Yeah.
see, the other one I can't see. And I had the Michigan State Michigan game on. That was like watching paint dry. It was like a sixth grade roll the ball out, first one to 20 wins. I mean, it was as ugly as it gets.
It was, and it was music to, it was, for someone like me who had under 138.5, it was, exactly what I was asking for there. That was one of my best bets of the day, was that under right there. So I was all over that one, in love with that one. But, no, I'm happy to talk about that game in a second. A couple Big Ten games that I'm definitely trying to talk about, and, plenty of games here. That one, is going to be interesting, obviously. I'm just trying to pull up, Michigan State, because they have been, after they obviously had the hot start, they kind of regressed a little bit with the gauntlet schedule. We talked about it plenty earlier in the season, obviously, and now they've been on a roll the last handful of games here. And so now -1, 1.5 at Wisconsin. Still Wisconsin with the number next to their name, despite the loss this past week in Illinois, which I don't think a lot of people, Illinois obviously has, had a rough stretch, but I don't think anyone's kicking Wisconsin to the curb just yet for that. But it is interesting to see Michigan, like you said, a little bit of a head scratcher to see Michigan State as the favorite in this spot. I will always hesitate to bet against a Wisconsin team at home in a situation like this, but it is definitely head scratching. The 127.5. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this total after I go on my spiel here for a minute. Because like I said, Michigan State's defense has been really, really tough the last few weeks. So this total is lower than they've had lately, but obviously this is kind of right in the middle of where Wisconsin typically is. It's not that necessarily low 120s where if you're seeing it with Wisconsin, you're all over it, and it's so 127. I don't know. I almost the total honestly to me feels spot on, but I'd love to hear if you lean one way or another there. Like I said, I always kind of give a lot of respect to Wisconsin at home, but even in this matchup alone, unless the last one was in the Big Ten tournament, the last 4 meetings between these teams, the away team was victorious. Like I said, unless the last one last year was 3-11-22. So actually, they played 3 times last year, so that one is in the tournament. So aside from that one, the last 3 meetings between these teams, the road team has won. Wisconsin twice at Michigan State, and Michigan State last year got the win at Wisconsin. So I kind of lean Michigan State with the way their defense is going, and kind of expected a little bit more regression from Wisconsin. They had the lost to Illinois this past weekend, but have kind of been due for a little bit of regression for a little bit now. So I lean towards Michigan State with the 1.5 point favorite on the road here. But again, hesitation, like I said, Wisconsin always tough at home. That's always kind of been a cliche of my entire lifetime, as far as that's one of the toughest places in the country to go to. But I'm going to lean towards Michigan State. But give me your thoughts on this one.
My true numbers on that game overnight was Wisconsin -1, 124.5. So this was your classic 63-62 Wisconsin. Yeah. Now the public gets to see that, and they're like, oh, not so fast. We're on Izzo's armies here. And now, like you said, you're seeing 1.5 with a 127. And our friends at Circa, Mr. Benson, Mr. Metcalf, Mr. Stevens, hello from the east side over here. They're up to a 128. Ken Palm right now, Wisconsin 62, Michigan State 60. So again, on the under there. It's funny because there's another game in the SEC. It's like the same thing. Are you buying the flip or you're not buying the flip? This Wisconsin team, again, it's not 115, 117, 119. So the total leans just a smidgen to Michigan State. I'll tell you what, anyone that likes Wisconsin today, I no problem playing that first half. I think if you're going to see early with the Wisconsin first half here, are they going to show up? Michigan State, don't forget, just played Michigan. Again, It was like washing paint dry. As my man in White Man Can't Jump, there was a Masons convention going on. I swear I had to duck all the way here in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. So I'm going to say Wisconsin first half. And for the winner, I mean, listen, I can see the Sparties. I can see it.
Yeah.
If I pull up the resume right now, Wisconsin, let's see, Wisconsin, 3, a loss to Kansas, a loss to Wake Forest, and coming off a loss to Illini by 10. And here comes Michigan State, 4, Zags, Bama, who's now number 4, Notre Dame, Northwestern. They're carrying a 6-game winning streak. Again, the sense of urgency definitely should be on Wisconsin, but looks like Izzo's got that army going, and they're really meshing right now.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Michigan State, but it does feel like it's going to be a dogfight right down to the end. So, moving on to the other Big Ten game, Illinois at Nebraska here. That one is later, so I'm jumping around as far as time-wise a little bit here. But Illinois, Nebraska is the one of the, I think just the other, 2 Big Ten games tonight, Illinois, Nebraska. Illinois only minus 3.5 after a big win at home against Wisconsin, and now only 3.5-point favorites is obviously I'm a little. I always love to get your help on these Illinois games because I'm slightly biased just a little bit, but 3.5 favorite spot after just about a week ago being a 3.5-point favorite at a Northwestern team that's better than Nebraska. Now you're giving me another 3.5. Feels a little bit concerning to me, unless we're talking about Nebraska just getting too much respect after what they've done the last week or so. But am I right to be concerned with this one here?
Yeah, my true numbers on this game was 2 with the 134.5. We're at 139 with the 3.5. Illinois minus 2. There's only one way the public's going to go. Again, that's Illinois. It's up to 3.5. Most likely will be 4 by tip-off. This Nebraska team, I talked about it when they upset Creighton, and then from the ETS team, we gave them out against Iowa, and they boxed away at them. Listen, I don't count Queens, obviously, but they beat Iowa, lost to Michigan State, then they beat Minnesota. Big game because Friday they travel to Purdue, then they host Ohio State. So for me, I'd buy the hook. I'd grab Nebraska plus the 4, and then I'm just going to scoot over to here for 1 second, and I'm going to grab Nebraska plus the 145, a little pizza and beer money on the money line.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's ugly. And as far as Illinois, I mean, you mentioned Nebraska's got Purdue coming up. Illinois just had the huge game against Wisconsin, like we were talking about, in a big bounce back spot they desperately needed, and they've got Michigan State at Illinois on Friday, so could be looking ahead to another big one there. And then after that, not too many tough ones after that, too far after that. They got Minnesota next week. That should be another win there. So hoping Illinois can get the win, obviously, but I am definitely concerned about this Nebraska team. They are pesky. So let's move over to your Big East, my friend. I know there's at least a couple games here, 3 games here. One that I'm definitely interested in getting your thoughts on, Butler and St. John's. St. John's minus 3.5 at home to a Butler team. St. John's 11-6, Butler 10-7. St. John's, I don't know. Would you like this one to be a little bit higher if you were interested in St. John's? They're in a spot where they should be desperate, backs against the wall, but a 3.5 against the Butler team that I don't really trust and believe in is another one that's real concerning to me right here.
Yeah, this St. John's team, I thought they'd be a little better. They can score with anyone. They don't play defense. They don't value the ball well. A Butler team that is just, again, not your Brad Stevens Butler team. Ken Palm's got him. St. John's at 73, Butler at 83. Butler comes in. But at 10-7, coming off a loss to Seton Hall. Prior to that, beat Georgetown DePaul, but then had lost 3 in a row. Connecticut, Creighton, Providence, the iron of the Big East there. So they are currently 83rd. And Ken Palm's got St. John's 75-71. So now I'm going to pull up St. John's. They've lost 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Villanova, who's okay. Xavier, who I respect. Seton Hall on the road is a tough place to play. Marquette, who they lost at home, I respect. And then they lost at Providence by 3. A sense of urgency, again, like I said with Wisconsin, I would take a look at the Johnnies first half. Hopefully, you get that high octane attack. Maybe they're hitting the threes. Maybe you can squeak out a 4 or 5 point first half lead because I think full game number is a Butler number.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you and I are on the same page. I like if you're looking at St. John, I like the first half thought there for sure. But it was surprising to me. Like I said, maybe I am giving too much credit to St. John's, not enough credit to Butler. I think we're on the same page. I believed in St. John's a little bit more, but was surprised to see him obviously struggling like this, and was surprised to not see this one a little bit higher. So I'll be staying away from this one. Was interested in your thoughts on that one. The other two Big East games, if you want to stop and talk about them, go ahead. With Georgetown involved in one, DePaul in the other, I wasn't super interested in those two. But if we can talk about them for sure if you'd like to. But Oklahoma State, Kansas State in the Big 12 was one I was interested in talking about. Kansas State 14-1. Their hair is on fire right now. 116-103 win at Texas, 97-95 win at Baylor. Their only loss is to that Butler team, ironically enough. Here, they're rolling right now. Oklahoma State just lost at home to Texas, 46-56. That was another paint drying game if there ever was one this past weekend, my friend. But only actually going down a little bit. Was 5.5 earlier in the day, 4.5, 5 now. This feel like an Oklahoma State line to you here on the road, and maybe time for some K-State regression.
Yeah, my true numbers was Kansas State 3 with a 137. Some notes here. Musa Cease, questionable for Okie State. And David N. Gesson, doubtful with shoulder for K-State. Absolute regression coming. The public has pushed it up to 5. Why have they done that? Well, very silly. Ken Palm has K-State 27th, Okie State 29th. But when you look resumes, again, this case, what they have done, Butler since then, 3, 6, 8 in a row. And with those 8 in a row, OT winner against West Virginia. 116, as you said, 103 to Texas, and Baylor 97-95 in OT. Yet people, the under-over is 137. Let me just repeat that again, okay? So 80, they scored 192 against Baylor. Okay, they scored 219 with Texas, and then they scored 160 against West Virginia, and the total's only 137. So if you go to the window to play this game, you make sure, A, you play the under, and B, that you go and tiptoe to the tulips, and you take the dog with Oklahoma State.
I have already put my wager in on Oklahoma State, my friend. I got them at 5.5, so I am feeling good at that number right there. But Oklahoma State, the loss at Kansas, only a 2-point loss, 10.5-point dogs, was really, really impressive. But obviously, yeah, people looking at not only K-State with their hair on fire, but Oklahoma State putting 46 up this past weekend is definitely the opposite side of it as far as what people are looking at. So I am all over Oklahoma State on this one tonight for sure. On this one, and again, K-State has been good. Credit to them, but we've seen this with a few of these teams that have been this good. The regression is coming, and again, this is probably going to be a tournament team for sure here, but. It's not a 1 or 2 seed in my opinion here in the tournament by the time the selection Sunday comes around. So the other one was this the one you were mentioning, Florida and LSU. Was that the other one you were mentioning as far as the old 1.5s there? 12-3 LSU hosting Florida, 8-7 Florida. Yet LSU is a 2-point dog here. They have you've been calling for the regression LSU, I know, for a minute here, and they finally hit the regression this past weekend at Texas A&M. I unfortunately was off of that one. Did you have that one? There you go. I had a nice Saturday, but that one was one that slipped through the cracks on me. And let's see. Florida gets a decent win against Georgia. Nothing crazy. 7-point win, 8.5-point favorites. But they had a tough stretch and struggled against Oklahoma, Auburn, and A&M themselves. Close games the last 2 there. Another one that I'm pretty interested in Florida here, my friend. Is this too good to be true for how I bet with going to Florida, or is this definitely a stay away on the LSU side and you're interested in Florida as well?
No, my numbers overnight was LSU -1 with a 138.5. The total has gone down to 137.5, some 136.5. Florida now one and actually two at circa up to 2.5. I strongly suggest if you were going to play this game, I too would lean Florida here. Again, the numbers don't add up. Number one, number two. I'm not a guy though that likes to uh, a one, 1.5, two. I saw this earlier today with a one. I almost released Florida. I looked at the money line and I saw around some 120s, and I'm going to get to that. I assume it's gone up. Ken Palm, Florida 57th. LSU is 79th. They have LSU 70 to 69 winner here. And I just want to see what Florida has gone up here on the money line. See, you can go to the Westgate right now, get a -130. Everywhere else is 135. Caesars is 155, circa 145. If that's a little too steep for your blood, just risk your normal wager, profit a little less. But again, listen, I wouldn't be shocked if LSU won. Don't get me wrong. This is
No,
not Billy Donovan and Al Horford and all those guys.
no,
No. That's not this Gator team. But I'm just
no.
talking about the line, the records, and it looks like the Gators is the side to lean on.
And honestly, if Florida botches this one, I might be going back the last couple of years. They've been a thorn in my side of just when you expect them to, really, really get going. They've laid some eggs. So I am on Florida tonight already. If they lay an egg on me tonight, they're in the graveyard for the rest of the year, my friend. I am not touching them again. Staying with the SEC, another one that I'm really interested in your thoughts on. Auburn and Mississippi. Auburn just gets a huge win against Arkansas this past weekend. They're 12-3. They've got a nice number next to their name, and they are at Ole Miss, 8-7 Ole Miss, who's lost 4 in a row, including Northern Alabama, and then 3 tough games: Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi State. Are you pretty concerned about Auburn in this one? -1.5 at 8-7 Ole Miss here tonight.
I can't even keep a straight face, guys. The ECSI VIPs, we have 3 games on the docket. And you know what? Because I'm feeling nice, guys. I'm feeling nice. This is one of them on the VIPs tonight. Uh, this got the award winner for Stench of the Night. Can you read the 2 teams' records again, by the way?
Yes, 12-3 Auburn, who is coming off of a win against Arkansas, who everybody loves, and Mississippi, 8-7 Mississippi, 4 straight losses.
And what was the opening number?
The opening number I am not entirely positive of. Was that 3? I see 3. Is that right?
Let me go to my overnight magic here. La, la, la. My true numbers was 2.5 with a 130.
Okay, close. Yeah, fair enough there. The only way everyone's going to be all over Auburn in this one, especially after that win the other day, and everyone already believed him. Even if they lost that game to Arkansas, everyone would have been all over Auburn. So I am with you. This is another one that I was the stench of the day, even stinkier than that Florida LSU. Two out of the SEC that stunk to high heaven. So glad we're thinking the same thing there.
Yeah, what we did is I bought the hook. I have Ole Miss +2, and I got +111 on the money line. Sprinkled the little pizza and beer money on the +111. Ole Miss has been a thorn in our side from way, way back. Another one of those teams, when you're on, they can't throw it in the ocean. When you go against them, they can't miss. Very surprised. Not the Auburn record is good this year, but it's not that Auburn team of the past few years that was just cooking with Crisco. This reeks to high heaven. So a gift to everyone watching who's not an ECSI VIP. Yes, tonight we are on Ole Miss +2 and a little pizza and beer money on them, +110, 111 on the money line.
Yep. And I that was another one this past weekend. They played against Mississippi State. That was 54-64. I had the under in that. That was another play that I had. Another under win. I had 2 unders the other day, and that was one of the 2. So Another one, people, and it was on national television, CVS. So I'm sure plenty of people saw that stinker of a game as well. So let's see, Oklahoma, Kansas. Another one that I'm interested in. Oklahoma has been a little weird. They've had some nice stretches. They just got a nice win against Texas Tech after a couple of losses. Kansas, obviously, 14-1. The defending champs. They're doing it well so far. They are they undefeated in conference? I think they're one. Who was their one loss? I'm drawing a blank on now. They lost to Tennessee, so they are undefeated in conference. Yep.
Tennessee.
Yep.
Tennessee.
And now you've got 10.5. So
14-1.
Yeah, 14-1, 10.5. They were 10.5 at home against Oklahoma State. We talked about it, only won by 2. Short favorites on the road. Texas Tech and West Virginia took care of them both. I don't know. Which way are you leaning on this one? I could see Oklahoma keeping this one close and being a tough contest. I could see Kansas winning by 20. I don't know. Any leans either which way on this one?
14-1 Kansas again. Their only loss in neutral site to Tennessee, 64-50. Since then, Texas Southern, Seton Hall, Missouri, Indiana, Harvard, Okie State, Texas Tech, West Virginia. Go over to the Oklahoma side. And 5 opening game jitter loss to Sam Houston State. Wow. Then they rattle off 6 in a row. Lose to Nova, lose to Arkansas, lose to Texas, lose to Iowa State, coming off a nice OT with Texas Tech. Truth be known, I think the number is spot on. I would a very smidgen of a lean to the Sooners and the points. No Stacey King. No, that was a great run that they had way back.
Buddy Buckets.
Yes, exactly. And I think the number's spot on, lands on 9, 11, 12, 8. But this Kansas team, they're the Georgia, it seems, of football.
Yeah.
They just keep them coming. And I'm never on the train. I wasn't on the Danny Manning train. I wasn't on the Paul Pierce train. I wasn't on last year's train. I'm always at the bus station, looking for someone else. But he keeps doing it.
And this Oklahoma team, I've been close to wanting to. I actually had him against Texas. That was another one that I had against Texas Tech this past weekend. But I was on them at least one of the 2 cases before that against. Earlier last week I was on them against Iowa State and they lost. Just a smidge away from where they need to be. Not quite. I don't know if they're just not in form or they're just not quite as good as what people expected. So I think it is spot on. Wouldn't surprise me. Not a lot would surprise me in this game. I'm just staying far away from this one. So, the other big one of the 2 ACC games, a big one of the biggest games of the night still. UNC Virginia minus 4.5, a 133.5. Virginia 11-3, number 13 per the AP, number next to their name. UNC currently unranked after starting as the number 1 team, but they're playing a lot better in recent memory. Last 5 games, beat Ohio State, beat Michigan, lose by 2 to Pitt, and then beat Wake and Notre Dame in the ACC. Virginia's still playing fine. Their schedule the last few weeks has been a little light though. Any interest? Either which way, I kind of lean towards UNC, but if you wanted to say you disagree, I'm not playing this one as of right now.
Overnight was 137-4. And apologies, guys. Internet sucks today. Apologies. We had an overnight number of 137 with Virginia and 4. It's down to 133 right now at Circa. Ken Palm's got it 70-66. So he's at 136. We were at 137. If anyone's looking for a play here, I would go grab your 133. I'd buy the hook to 132.5, and I'd take the over. Back in the day, the Virginia totals were 115. They're like Wisconsin, 112, 118. And now the actual true number is 137. Now, of course, North Carolina has a lot to do with this. But with that said, I'll go on record here. I like over 132.5 minus the 120 because I bought the hook.
No, I like it. Any those Virginia totals above 130s definitely aren't ringing any bells for the under. So I'll go on record with you there. That is all I had as far as games I wanted to talk about. Any other college games you were interested in mentioning here today?
Well, I'll just say that Mr. Benson must have got our alert because he moved our other game already, but we got it a long time before him. So I won't give any more out to the VIPs. You know, the one game two teams I'm disappointed in. They've been darlings for years, and maybe you can give me a little help. What the hell's going on? Always a fun game to watch used to be VCU at Loyola Chicago. What the hell's going on there?
I really don't know. I haven't been as tapped into the Missouri Valley as I was when I was actually at Illinois State in college, and Illinois State the last 2-3 years as the program's gone downhill since I was there. They were top 3-4 team in the conference while I was there, and now they're bottom 3-4 team. So my eyes on that have gone away a little bit, but Loyola themselves, 6-9. As well. I've been trying to scope out some games in the city to try and go to, but Loyola is not one that's looking like one that I need to get out to. And VCU, another team that's typically in those low totals as well, along with Virginia and Wisconsin typically. And this one's and all season long they've kind of been away from that as well. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you as far as that one, but it has been ugly for Loyola so far.
And there was one other one. This one smelt a little to me. Now, I'm just before I release this one, I just want to double check so I'm eating crow here because it didn't make any sense to me, the opening number. And before I eat crow, I just want to take a look because I didn't think they had that many losses. Okay, I'll still call this game out. Okay, I'm just telling you, the team that I'm going to say just keep an eye on today, they're bad this year. They're real bad. But my number was 3 with a 141. I'm seeing 4s. Temple 9-8 versus a 4-10 Tulsa team who is just coming off 4 losses in a row. Then they did win 2, one against Central Michigan, one against Mississippi Valley State with no Jerry Rice. And then they had lost 5 in a row again, Charlotte, Murray State, Okie State, Aurora. I'm telling you guys right now, keep an eye on Tulsa tonight.
I could buy. I did that one. I will have zoomed right past that one the first time going through that one. So I could buy what you're selling on that one though. A 141 as well. Maybe not. I'm definitely with you there. The 4-10 Tulsa. That's right up my alley as far as some of these ugly ones. I can definitely buy what you're selling there.
That's about it tonight. South Carolina, Kentucky, how the mighty have fallen. Whatever Kentucky men's do to South Carolina tonight, don't worry. The women will take it out on Kentucky later over there. But that's it for that I can see on the Texas Tech, Iowa State's a good game. I had a 4.5 with a 128. It's now 5.5. Some 5s out there. Again, Texas Tech, especially as a dog, is always that lightning rod. So I tend to say Texas Tech is the public trendy dog here. I'm staying far away from this game. I could see Texas Tech winning outright. I can see Iowa State winning by double digits. When I see both sides, I just leave it alone.
Yeah. No, I was interested. I lean towards Texas Tech as well. Part of it's because I could see Iowa State finally hitting some regression a little bit. They've been really good lately ever since that stinker against Iowa But Texas Tech is another one. I bet against them with Oklahoma this past weekend. They're another one that I think is solid and might have a chance at putting a decent resume together, but just isn't quite there and not quite what they were the last couple of years. Obviously weren't what they were with Chris Beard, and then last year still had some of that residuals hanging around. Not quite that same team. So I lean Texas Tech, but I'm with you. I'm staying away from it.
That's it for college. What do you got?
Let's see. The NBA, your Celtics got my Bulls last night. I was expecting quite a bit more points, but the Celtics obviously get that one by 8. Huge number in Philly. Philly by 14 and a half there against sometimes a scrappy Detroit team. Go ahead.
As we were talking college hoops, I got the update here. Embiid is expected and will play.
There you go. And this Detroit team, every once in a while, they're scrappy, but it kind of, whenever you see the 6s and 7s, that's kind of the go spot there for the Pistons. But I'll be staying far away from this one. A TNT game that I'm interested in, and you said it last week. I don't remember how you coined it, but I've been interested in a lot of OKC Thunder action. They're on the road in Miami. No Bam Adebayo or Tyler Hero for Miami. The people are calling this SGA Shai Gilgeous-Alexander showcase, which it could be. But we talked about them last week. Oklahoma City, they have not gotten a ton of respect up until this point. This is probably the most respect they've gotten, in my opinion, as far as the line here. But on the road, they've struggled. We both were against them, at least on this show. I know I also took them on my bet slip last week. One of my favorite bets of the week last week was the Magic against them because OKC is 5-13 straight up on the road. I could see, as far as the number is concerned, I could see why anyone is interested in OKC, and I definitely kind of lean towards OKC with that short line there. But Miami's playing a little bit better regardless of who they got. And like I said, I'm kind of just avoiding OKC on the road right now. Love them at home, but I'm leaving this one on the desk. Any interest either which way here?
Miami. Abayu, doubtful. Lowry, doubtful. Hero, doubtful. Khalid Martin, doubtful. Man, just give everyone that paid for their damn ticket, give them a refund. I mean, who the hell are you shooting up there? I mean, enough's enough here. It's garbage. And again, a team that I expect come April to get their shit together and to be, a thorn in someone's ass in the Eastern Conference. Listen, I had a 4.5 of the 224.5. And as we speak, pennies listen. They have dropped the total down now to 222 in their spot. 2.5. Listen, I couldn't play this if you Venmo me 100. I'd Venmo you 200 back. I know you. The thought process with OKC. We understand when there's a boatload of injuries, people run to the window to play the other side with all those injuries, and you never see them come back to cash a ticket. You see them run to the window to place the bet, but you never see him walk back to the window to cash the bet. So just keep that in mind.
And for as much love as I've given OKC, I'll be on record saying I hope they can do that and live up to all those expectations. But as someone who's seen a lot of these teams in spots where it's like, okay, here's the national showcase for not only the team but SGA, seems like it's in my gut. It feels like it's not going to come to fruition for him and him. But I hope I'm wrong, and at the least, if anyone's all over SGA, I hope he can pour it in for you. So I'm staying away from it, but little sketchy there. One that I am interested in, haven't played yet, Cleveland in Utah, 2.5. Now it looks like up to 3 in a couple spots there. I see this is Cleveland is the biggest public side of the day from what I saw, the tracker that I was using. They're 26-15. They're playing well right now. They're beating a lot of these good teams. Utah 20-23. They've lost 4 of their last 5 against some good teams. They took care of Houston and lost to my Bulls, lost to the Grizzlies on the road. They are back home. They've done this a couple times this year. Just when it looks like they're starting to regress, then they finally bounce back at home in a couple home games and they get right. So, and obviously the overlying narrative is the Donovan Mitchell revenge game, which I think is probably what the public buying into the most. But you obviously still have some pride on the end of Utah as far as wanting to win that trade as well and win those narratives. So I lean towards Utah, but I have left it on the desk as of right now.
Yeah, of course. I mean, last week Donovan Mitchell puts up 71. The talk of the town. Here he is
Yeah, on my
coming.
Bulls.
Yeah, to Utah again. As much as we respect Cleveland here, it's Utah or bust here. Let the public do all their props on every over that
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell has, and just sit back. Again, I'm not on it, but I would take by the hook, take Utah up to 3, sprinkle a little something, something, probably get them around plus 125, 130 on the money line, and call it a night.
Yep, that's where I'm leaning as well. So, a few other games. I guess the one that I was also interested in and had a lean on, but also leaving it on the desk. It is not the what's the other TNT game? Oh, the Suns. Also, the Infirmary Suns is the other TNT game. That's not where I was going. I was actually thinking this other game might have been the TNT game. But Dallas and the Clippers. Clippers plus 1.5, 21-21. Dallas 23-18. I believe no Paul George tonight. He has missed the last couple. And I think they're doubtful. And they are 4-8, I believe, without Paul George. Kawhi Leonard is in though, as far as I know. Obviously, that I'm not going to say that no doubt that he's in because obviously we know how that can go. And I expect him to be in, but I'm never going to say with absolute certainty that Kawhi Leonard's playing. You know what I mean? So you've got the Clippers who have lost, I believe, 6 in a row. As nearly close to a pick 'em, a very short dog here against a good Dallas team, 23-18, that is playing fairly well right now. So I'm gonna lean towards the Clippers, but nothing would surprise me out of this one. I'm leaning towards the Clippers at home to end this losing streak. But if you disagree with me, I wouldn't be upset.
No, I had an overnight number, a Clippers -2 with a 219.5. Total now 223, 223 and a hook at the Circa. Dallas now -1. Respect the opening number, which would be Clippers -2. Public jumping all over Dallas. This is you get him on a primetime game, a TNT game. I mean, what's Luka going to score? 40, 50? Who the hell knows? I mean, that game against the Knicks when they were down 9 with like 30 seconds was another reason. It was almost as bad as the Celtics -9 at OKC and giving up 150.
Yeah. Right.
NBA to me right now is just a monitor to watch. Pick a spot here and there. I'm going to ask you the question. I'm hearing rumblings. Now, it's Twitter, social media rumblings, not a lot of check marks here. Paul George to be traded. Have you heard anything like that?
I haven't. I think they're kind of okay and have accepted being in that range of if we can get everybody healthy at the right time, we're dangerous and we can win this whole thing. So, no, I haven't heard that. It wouldn't shock me, I guess, but and I guess maybe if those two, Kawhi and Paul George, have trouble in paradise as far as their relationship, who knows? But no, I wouldn't expect that. I have not heard that.
Would you trade Paul George to Brooklyn for Ben Simmons?
If you're the Clippers, would you do that? I would. No. Okay. Straight up, no. I would need a little more from the Nets there.
Okay. And, it's funny, as the Nets pushed all the way near the top in the East,
yeah.
Now KD out for a month. I mean, it's just amazing. Zion out. It looks like the NFL now, with this, first of all, the NBA's got load management, and never mind now that we're taking a month off here. I'm telling everyone this. It'd be so much easier just to take the 80, 82 game season, cut it to 60, 62, and you'd save a lot of headaches. I'm telling you, you would. Just me.
I'm with you. They're never going to do it with all the money they make in the regular season, but and just to put so much more value on these regular season games would be fantastic in my opinion. But I'm not holding my breath for that one.
And wouldn't it make all the sense in the world, the NBA to start the Monday after the Super Bowl? You start it after the Super Bowl. You don't have to play it during the regular season of the football, right? Start it the day after the Super Bowl, and you run it all the way up until the start of September. Makes too much sense. I'm sorry.
No, it makes or at least Christmas. I mean, and nobody cares about the NBA. Nobody other than excuse me, people who are diehard NBA junkies cares about it up until Christmas. So I'll say Christmas. I do like NBA coming around at least by Christmas. So I'll go a little earlier and meet you in the middle with Christmas.
Anything else, sir?
Anything else? No, I that's all I've got, my friend. Now that the Packers season is done, and that's my takes away one of my blogs, I'll probably be circling back to some PGA action. John Rahm gets it done this past weekend. I obviously I was out of town and moving to Lambeau Field, but that was another one of what we did all season long last year as far as the Sunday take the top off the board and look for somebody else. That was a fantastic one there. I obviously didn't get a chance to watch it being at the game on Sunday night, and then just pulled it up in the middle of a game. My father, who I was with, a huge golf fan, couldn't believe his eyes that John Rahm got that one done. So not sure. He's still working on my schedule. Not sure if I'll have anything for this weekend or not, but definitely going to be bringing back some golf here in the near future.
It was funny because my one and done contests start this week, and I had a room full here on Sunday, and people are on Prize Picks, they're on Underdog, asking for all these props, and I said, Rahm, whatever you got, Rahm, birdies, Jeff, it's 7 birdies over. Jeff, it's 7 over, and I'm following on my phone. I didn't know he bogeyed the first hole. So he was literally 9 back with 17 to go. And he wasn't chasing a nobody. He was chasing Morikawa.
I know.
And
I know.
So hats off to the Raminator. He is back. Golf is back. ECSI VIPs. I don't know if I'll have anything this week. I'm going to pick and choose and see what we do there. We've had 12 outright winners in the last 2 years. That's pre-flop. That is pre-flop. So that's not – and me and Riley on Sundays, famous for taking the leaderboard way, way down and finding some gems there. Super stoked there. I'm going to just pull up the hockey board for 1 second and see if I can find a this Florida Panther team sucks right now. They suck, and they can't score. They were 0 for 4 for us on Friday on the power play. Flames are playing better. They cashed for us on Friday. So I'm going to just look at 2 team totals for everyone here and see if I can find so you can't do the Florida. All right, so anyone wants to scratch an itch in hockey tonight? Calgary team total over 3.5. plus 110. And this one, if you hit, you can go to PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. It's a nice price. They are so overdue. Florida team total over 3.5 plus 145 tonight at the Avalanche. So Florida over 3.5 plus 145 at the Avs. Calgary team total over 3.5. plus 110 at the Blues.
I can dig it.
You and I, today is Tuesday. We're going to try to do is a Wednesday, Thursday, closing bell. We will try this week, either Friday or Saturday, your Big Ten preview. We have an NFL wildcard weekend.
Yep.
And so figure out Friday and Saturday, and then we can go from there. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds great to me. I actually, I will absolutely be available tomorrow. It's the late game. I'm going to Rutgers at Northwestern tomorrow night. I've never been to that place, and it was tickets as if it was 5 years ago. 200th ranked Northwestern, 201st ranked Rutgers is what the ticket prices were reflecting. And I said, these two teams are borderline top 25 teams right now. I got to scoop these up, and I've never been there. So it is the late game, 8 o'clock my time, 9 o'clock your time. So I'll have plenty of time to do the show and get out and go to that. But I'm excited for that, and I'm sure I'll have some thoughts on that once we get there tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I have confirmed Andrew McGinnis, as always, at 1 o'clock. I have not confirmed B2B. Rob beating the bookie at 9:30 tomorrow. That is not confirmed yet. Thursday, I have confirmed Dan Alexander at Newbie Talks at 2:30. We'll be talking Philly Special there, the number 1 seed. Myself and Riley will be catching up with some closing bells. We'll be doing a Big Ten preview. We'll also catch everyone up into Wildcard Weekend. Might talk a few potential futures if you're looking for a few swings. I know at ECSI in August, we gave out Bills, AFC champs, Super Bowl champs. I know in November, I gave out the Niners right around 13, 12, 14 to 1, somewhere in there. And a couple people here grabbed the Bengals at 11 to 1, watching our show right here. And I know a few of those people. So we're excited. We're here. And I'll preview everyone this. When you see Tom Brady has never lost to Dallas, and you see how bad Dallas has played the last couple of weeks, I'm just preempting everyone. Next Monday night, the whole wide world is on Tom Brady. I'm just telling you. So be careful there. So from myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one, the only Mr. Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed evening. Hope everyone cashes a few tickets. Remember, sprinkle a little something here. Have a couple dogs on the money line. Always stay in your lanes, guys. You know, this is a marathon. We are on January 10th. We got a long, long way to go. And myself and Riley here to help cash a few tickets, build up that bankroll. And we'll see you in the AM. See you soon.